When it comes to citizen action, there are two competing issues pertaining to the ethics of responsibility. One of them is um, Samaritan laws, Good Samaritan laws, meaning that a person who intervenes might be held responsible if something goes wrong. People are told to wait for law enforcement officers, and yet, as we've witnessed um, recently at the Uvalde crisis, a woman who took the law into her own hands managed to save her children when the police didn't move. Um, Her Good Samaritanism in that case worked out. But another issue has to do with bystander laws. The police were bystanders in the sense that many people would not intervene and they wouldn't be held responsible for not intervening. One of the most tragic tricks of the underworld is to attack bystanders when somebody is a good Samaritan. An example of this is when I tried to warn the union at Seattle Community College that a gang in Capitol Hill were dangerous. The union reacted by banning me from college, and a bystander was murdered. One could almost believe that they were targeting me by trying to make me look responsible. If I hadn't warned against them, maybe they wouldn't have lashed out. That would make a Samaritan responsible for an attack on a bystander in their corrupted reasoning. And we see this particularly glaringly with the activities of the rock and roll industry, who lied about me and created an abnormal godlike claim that something that Lenin did was my fault. So we see the beginnings of true hybrid war. One of the saddest and cruelest to the mind acts of hybrid war was when the Beatles participated in the murder of JFK and then uploaded their double cross in insinuating songs, like cooing that they blew his mind out in a car. This had the aspect of Sabo Abe. Sabo Abe was an assassin who insinuated by purring into the arms of her man and then would slay them. It was the acts of the fiddlers of Dachau who were told to greet the merchandise, by which they meant the victims coming to be the extermination chambers at the trains, and play fiddles for them as they escorted them to the showers. It was the cooing of the Venus flytrap. This is the hybrid that the Beatles and King Crimson uploaded as an active game war into the American hygiene as they sang and cooed into the arms of their victims. Discourse is a quality of life. It's important that we recognize that one of the reasons that they targeted me was because I came from the intellectual heritage of American culture. These lopers insinuated that they had the right to torture, poison, and abuse in Ripper Hatter acts of assassination for the licky chops liqueur of their academic UW dialectical discourse. It's important to understand that all along they were saying, we'll talk about it as we go along. This was coming from men like Schwarzenegger, talking about it. as they went along. In other words, keeping the rhapsodies going as they hybridized their abomination. I can't imagine anything more disgusting than the people in media portraying themselves as normal keepers of the peace while playing this kind of war game from their PlayStation. Nanan somehow got away with it, but his minions can still be brought to justice.